The Maritime Museum in Halifax was the stage for the release of a Senate committee report on implementing an Indigenous right-based fishery. Senator Dan Christmas didn't mince words. He said the federal government is ignoring a treaty-based right to fish.
In fact, witnesses said authorities had been harassing Indigenous fishers for years, seizing their gear, making arrests, and effectively criminalizing them for exercising their long-held and Supreme Court-affirmed treaty right.
Senator Fabian Fanning agreed.
We heard testimony from witnesses that law enforcement and regulators have failed in their attempt to prevent the violence and destruction. This is all extremely troubling and a direct result of the federal government's failure to fully implement treaty rights for First Nation fishers.
The committee heard from 30 witnesses over the past year. Shelley Denny was one of them. She testified this past April and hopes the report will get the attention of peoples across the country.
I really think it's very important that Canada be aware of these issues. They're not just in Nova Scotia. This affects more than the Mi'kmaq. So I think it's very important that they shed more light and more awareness on some of the challenges that the First Nations have been having.
The study began in the spring after Sipekne'katik First Nation launched their treaty fishery in the fall of 2020, which was met with violence from non-Indigenous fishers. RCMP and fisheries officers were accused of standing by. The report, called Peace on the Water, makes 10 recommendations, such as relocating commercial traps to Indigenous fishers, and that the federal government immediately address systemic racism in the DFO and RCMP.
So the ugly reality of racism in Nova Scotia and elsewhere is quite evident and undeniable. So we strongly recommend that the government consider doing more public education.
Another recommendation is to transfer the responsibility from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans to Crown Indigenous Relations. However, DFO Press Secretary Claire Techman responded this way. Minister Murray and DFO will continue to work with treaty nations to further implement their right to fish in pursuit of a moderate livelihood. The federal government has 150 days to respond to the report. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Tupuktuk, known as Halifax.